We all remember getting 5 stars in GTA, right? The entire city was chasing you down because of your great ability at the game. This is kinda similar to being a 5-star in the world of college basketball. Every university's basketball program wants you. But unlike GTA, being a 5-star in college basketball usually works out. Usually. Other times, these highly rated recruits go to massive programs with high expectations only to disappear from the spotlight. So today, I thought I'd find some of the worst 5-star recruits since 2010. For player number 1, we head to the 2013 class, the year of Kentucky, where the Wildcats had 5 of the top 10 recruits in the nation, along with names such as Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker rounding off the top 10. However, the 7th ranked recruit in the class became one of the most forgettable top recruits of all time. His name was Chris Walker. Walker, the 6'10 power forward, was a parade All-American and decided to sign to the home state Florida Gators. The 13-14 Gators were hyped up to be a good team this college season, so for Walker to get some minutes, he needed to prove himself early on. But Walker was not able to do that his first semester of his freshman season, as it was due to him not qualifying academically for the university, so he didn't enroll until December 2013. When he finally got to join the Gators, he missed another 10 games while the NCAA investigated allegations that he had received benefits in high school, and then an additional 2 games when the NCAA determined he had. So his first game wasn't until February 4th, 2014. Where in his 18 games, Walker averaged just 4.8 minutes per game, leading to 1.9 points and 1.3 rebounds. Not the best start. His sophomore season, Walker got suspended the first 3 games, but after that, played a full season for the Gators. The only problem was that he still wasn't a dominant contributor. Despite getting nearly 15 minutes a game while even starting 6 games for Florida, it led to just 4.7 points with 3.5 rebounds the time he was on the court. Will say though, he did have 1.2 blocks per game, so that was a huge plus. But this led many fans and analysts of the sport to think that Walker was underutilized under Billy Donovan and missed the potential of his recruiting profile. Instead of just staying at Florida another season or transferring to another school, Walker decided to leave college basketball altogether and go pro. Luckily for Walker, this 2013 class was a little weaker than other recruiting classes, so he often gets overshadowed for his lackluster college career. Probably the most crazy 5-star bust to me came in the 2015 class. Ben Simmons was number 1 ranked and signed with LSU. Number 2 in the class was a guy born in Haiti and played high school ball in Memphis, Skal Labissiere. Labissiere was a 6'11 center who was capable of stretching the floor, was looked at as a generational prospect, and was considered a potential number 1 pick for the 2016 draft. He decided on signing with Kentucky, where comparisons of him to Anthony Davis started to arise. Unlike Kentucky Anthony Davis, Skal wasn't anywhere close to having the success AD had as a Wildcat. Labissiere was named the starter for the first 11 games of the season for the team, but fell out of the starting 5 after that and nearly disappeared altogether during SEC play. He averaged just a measly 5.3 points and 3 rebounds on 13 minutes a game, ultimately ending the season with stats of 6.6 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks. I think the real reason Skal did not live up to his 5-star ranking was how he was used in this Calipari system. Calipari didn't fully let Labissiere play his natural game early in the season. Instead of using him as a stretch big man from the start, Cal kept him as more of a traditional big man. Just like the previous Chris Walker, Labissiere decided to leave for the NBA instead of sticking around Kentucky to develop his game even more. Maybe not the worst decision to leave, as Skal has played 6 NBA seasons, even just this past season with the Wizards. But for worst 5-stars, Labissiere is one of the biggest letdowns since 2010. Yet again, another big man bust came the year after Labissiere in the 2016 class. Duke was looking to make their 2016-17 team one of the best Duke teams we had seen in years. They brought in 5-star recruits Harry Giles, Jason Tatum, and Frank Jackson. Now, I could have done this section on Harry Giles because his Duke career was obviously a massive disappointment, but instead, I'm going with Duke's 4th and final 5-star of the class, Marques Bolden. Bolden was a 6'10 center and McDonald's All-American who was expected to make an impact right away, and with Harry Giles dealing with a knee injury, Bolden was expected to have a major role alongside Emil Jefferson. But before he could even get started, a leg injury caused Bolden to miss the first 8 games of the season. That injury immediately put him behind, and he never really recovered during his freshman year. Bolden appeared in just 24 games, averaging only 6.5 minutes with stats of 1.5 points and 1.1 rebounds per game. Bolden returned for his sophomore season, and things did improve with an increased role. He played nearly 13 minutes per game and averaged 3.9 points and 3.6 rebounds. But once again, he was overshadowed by the talent around him. Freshmen Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter took over the front court, while Bolden came off the bench for most of the season. And to make matters worse, another injury forced him to miss about a month of the season in January. Still, Bolden decided to return to Durham for his junior season, and this was finally his best opportunity to prove himself. Duke brought in freshmen Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Trey Jones, but the center position was much more open than it had been in previous years. Bolden became a major part of the rotation, starting 21 of Duke's 35 games. Obviously, with that much star power around him, Bolden wasn't going to be a major offensive option, but he really didn't need to be. He averaged 5.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per game while shooting almost 58% from the field. After his junior season, Bolden decided to move on from Duke. He finished as a solid role player and a defensive presence, but for a McDonald's All-American and 5-star center, he never really came close to living up to the hype, and he ended up as a bust. Another Kentucky player from the 2019 class joins this list, with this being Kahlil Whitney. Whitney was a top 15 recruit in the country and was given the opportunity to make an impact right away by John Calipari. Whitney started in the Wildcats' first 7 games of the season, but where his production simply wasn't there. Playing 19 minutes a game, Whitney shot 34% from the field, averaging 1.4 turnovers a game in this span as well. As a result, Whitney eventually moved to the bench, and where his role kept shrinking over the season, all the way down to just playing a combined 4 minutes in games versus Arkansas and Georgia in late January. Clearly this is a breaking point because Whitney announced he was stepping away from the program just minutes after John Calipari's pre-Texas Tech presser. In his statement, Whitney said he had conversations with the coaching staff about his future and how he and the people in his camp had been unhappy for weeks. Whitney had become just the 5th 5-star to leave under Calipari mid-season, and where Whitney ended with the stats of 3.3 points, 1.7 rebounds, and 0.4 assists in 12 minutes. He obviously struggled during his time in Lexington, but there's no denying his potential. Whitney had the athleticism to make some ridiculous plays, including some freakish dunks, and Calipari even said earlier in the season that Whitney could be Kentucky's X factor once March came around. Unfortunately, when Whitney left Kentucky after just half a season, he became another 5-star recruit who never lived up to the hype at the university. The final player on my list is an active player out of the 2023 class, but as of now, he's a bust in college basketball, and that player is Omaha Biliew. Biliew came in as the 11th ranked recruit on most sites and had offers from schools such as Kansas, Michigan, and Tennessee, but he decided to commit to the home state team of Iowa State, making it the Cyclones' highest ranked recruit in program history. Being year 3 of head coach TJ Ostelberger at the time, Biliew could find real success names. Like others on this list though, Biliew's freshman season saw more time on the bench than the floor due to the talent and experience in front of him. Iowa State had 4 other big men in the rotation, so Biliew only saw action in 20 games despite no injuries. Playing just 7 minutes in those 20 games, there was even a stretch from late January to middle of March where Biliew didn't play in any games. This lack of playtime meant he was entering the transfer portal and where he decided on Wake Forest for the 24-25 season. Now this year at Wake Forest was sort of like his season at Iowa State, only appeared in 13 games at 9 minutes a game. This time though, there was a legitimate reason for the lack of playtime. A foot injury forced him to miss roughly 2 months of the season, and when he returned in February, he still wasn't a major factor, mostly seeing limited minutes late in games. Instead of entering the transfer portal again after a frustrating season, Biliew decided to stick around at Wake Forest for his junior year. At this time, he finally started to turn things around. Biliew played in all 35 games, starting 24 of them, and averaged 6.3 points and 2.4 rebounds per game while shooting 46% from the field. Those numbers obviously aren't eye-popping, but compared to where his career was heading, this was a significant improvement. And that improvement opened the door for another opportunity through the transfer portal. For the 2026-27 season, Biliew transferred to Grand Canyon University, where he should have a much bigger opportunity to play significant minutes and potentially earn a starting role. Omaha Biliew absolutely has the chance to prove me wrong this season. If he breaks out and becomes the player that everyone expected him to be coming out of high school, I'll gladly take him off the list. But as of right now, this former top 15 recruit is unfortunately a 5-star bust in my books. From players who never found their roles to guys whose careers were derailed by injuries or poor situations, of course, not every player on this list had a terrible career, but they all fell well short of expectations that came with being a 5-star recruit. And with plenty of 5-stars entering college every year, it'll be interesting to see who becomes the next big name to make a list like this. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.